Hello and welcome to HQ, where the lessons are 5 minutes and the learning lasts a lifetime. In today's lesson, we're talking about the lost colony of Roanoke. Now, the Roanoke colony is widely talked about and is oftentimes more famous than her sister colony, Jamestown, which was founded 20 years later. In any case, Roanoke was founded in 1587 by the same guy who helped found Jamestown, John White. Him and his wealthy backer, Sir Walter Raleigh, intended for the colony to be founded by the Chesapeake Bay, but the sailors they had hired dropped them and the 94 other colonists off instead at Roanoke. The real problem with this is that the soil is way too sandy to farm in, and the harbors are too bad to bring ships in, so there's no real good way to get supplies to the colony. So it's not really a good place to put the colony. But that in and of itself doesn't doom it. What really dooms the lost colony is that John White and Sir Walter Raleigh leave to go back to England to get supplies and more people for these people in Roanoke, for the colony there. And they leave, and they don't come back for 3 whole years. Basically, the Spanish Armada prevents any ships from leaving England, and for the colonizers of Roanoke, no ships equals no supplies. 3 years later, when Sir Walter Raleigh returns, all he finds is the word Croatan carved under the tree, the colony having mysteriously disappeared in his absence. Now here I'm going to present to you the 4 theories about what exactly kind of happened to the colonists, and I'm going to let you decide for yourself which one you believe most, but I'll give my point of view on these as well. So the first one is that they integrated with other natives, and this actually treads a lot of water for me. I believe this to a certain extent, and this is documented by the Jamestown settlers and what they found, because when they found Jamestown on the Chesapeake, in the Chesapeake area, they talked to natives in the area and they got 2 stories, one of which corroborated that the natives and the settlers mixed together and integrated, because there have been reports of white people living as natives in native communities. Also, French Huguenots who had traveled into North Carolina found Tuscarora natives who were blonde and blue-eyed, and that's not something you find unless there had been intermarriage between the English colonists and the natives. Now, the second theory, and this one, in my opinion, is the strongest theory, is that the settlers were destroyed and killed by a man named Powhatan, whose daughter was made famous by Disney. You might know her as Pocahontas. So Powhatan, and we're going to talk more about him when we talk about Jamestown, was a very strong chief in the Chesapeake area, and he told John White this himself. He said that these settlers, he destroyed them because in a dream he saw them destroying him. So before they could destroy him, he destroyed them. That's some preventive stuff right there, I suppose. So whether or not Powhatan himself killed them, I'm not really sure, but I do believe that there was some kind of conflict between the natives and the colonists, and whether Powhatan is taking responsibility for that or whether it was not Powhatan, but he's just saying, hey, I did it, we don't really know. The third theory that floats around is that the Spanish destroyed Roanoke. And I can kind of see why people would believe this, because the Spanish were destroying communities that weren't Spanish along the coast, because a lot of privateers and pirates came out of these communities. But I just can't see it happening, because Spain was still looking for Roanoke 10 years after it was lost, and they didn't know it was lost. They just didn't know where it was. So how could they destroy something if they have no clue where it was? So, it kind of doesn't hold much water for me. Now, the fourth theory that floats around is that these settlers retreated to a fort they had built at Salomon Creek, and I could kind of see this as well. I mean, this was found in 2012 by researchers between the University of London and the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, and they came together, they looked at maps, and they found some evidence that pointed towards things being covered up on the map. And that kind of shows maybe there was something there and then it was destroyed and covered over. But they may have gone to a fort at Salmon Creek and tried to live there. I'm not really 100% sure about that. These are the 4 major theories, and I'm going to let you draw your own conclusions as to what exactly happened. But as for me, I believe that both they joined another tribe because they needed shelter and they needed food, and they're the only ones who could provide it, and that Powhatan destroyed them, because why else would he make up these stories? It doesn't make much sense to me otherwise. But I'm going to let you draw your own conclusions, and for many of us, it's just going to have to stay the lost colony because we don't really have many facts pointing to what exactly happened. Thank you for watching, though. This is HQ, signing off for now. I'll see you next time.